boys and girls. I'm Kathy, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to approach a dog, your own as well as strange dogs, so that your dog stays safe and knows that you're friendly. When you want to go up to your dog, make sure that the dog isn't sound asleep or can't see that you're coming. And when you approach the dog, you want to approach slowly. Don't just reach out and go, ah, and want to pet him immediately. Hey, Miss Jade, here we are. Hello, sweetie. I'm going to hold out my hand and let her sniff me. Here we are. Yeah, that's a good girl. And then I'm going to pet her gently on the side of her body or on her chest or maybe down her back. She likes that better than coming right over her head, which she doesn't always think is the most friendly way, but she will accept that. So the thing that you don't want to do is just surprise the dog by walking right up to them and going to them. If it's a dog that you don't know and it isn't your dog, you want to make sure that you ask permission from the dog's handler before you go up and pet the dog. So if Jade was with another person, I would say, hi, I'm Kathy. I'd like to pet your dog. Is that okay? And if they say yes, then you may proceed to do so. If they say no, she doesn't necessarily like all people, then you want to respect that. Girls, I'm Kathy, and I'm going to work with Gordy here and talk to you about getting your dog's attention. Gordy has been with us for a little while, and he had a skin infection on his rear end. Our vets are treating it, and he's recovering, but that's why he's got some hair loss on his back. But getting your dog's attention sometimes is really important. You want to do something with your dog, you want to do some training, and if the dog won't make eye contact with you, he can't really listen or see what you want him to do, and so you need to get his attention. The way we're going to do that is I'm going to show you something we call the attention game. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for brief little moments when Gordy will look up at my face. So I'm going to start here. I've got treats in both of my hands. I'm going to put them behind my back. Hey, Gordy. Yes! And when he looks at me, I'm going to say yes, because that tells him that he did the right thing, and I'm going to give him a treat. Yes! And now I'm going to treat him from my other hand, so he doesn't always expect that it's coming from one direction. And I'm just going to, yes! Wait him out. I'm not going to give him a cue. I'm not going to call his name. I'm just going to wait for him to, yes! Good boy. He's doing it a little bit more frequently now. Yes, what a good boy you are, Gordy. And he's starting to look at me a little bit longer. You want that one? Huh? You want it? You getting tired of those? Okay, we'll switch real quick to something else. Let's try these. Okay, back to work, Gordy. Come here. Here we are. Yes! And I'll say my yes nice and crisp and loud so that he knows what's going on. Yes! There you go, Gordy. Okay, he's gotten pretty good at that, so now I'm going to make the game a little bit more difficult. I'm now going to take my hands with treats in it. I'm going to hold them out to my sides like this, and see, he's looking at my hand and not looking at me, and I'm just going to wait him out till he looks at my hand. Some dogs might even try to jump up because they can smell the treats in my hands, but I don't want him looking at my treats. Yes! And he just looked at me briefly, so I gave him a treat from the other hand. Now he's back to staring at my left hand again. Yes! And he just turned his eyes and looked at me. So you don't want to cue him or anything with this. You want him to learn that making eye contact, yes, what a good boy. Making eye contact with you is what you want, and that's going to mean he gets a treat. And when he gets a treat, yes, for doing something correctly, he's more likely to do it again. And now you've got a little game going where your dog is going to make, yes, what a good boy. Okay, let's get a few more treats. Do this a couple more times. Hands are out to my sides. And he's not looking at me. He's looking around. But I'm going to wait for him to look up at me. Yes! Then he gets a treat. When he starts to get really good at this, you can start to bring your hands a little closer to his face. Yes! So eventually you might even be able to get your hands right down here by the side of his face, but he'll look up at you. Well, you are a good boy, Gordy. Yes, that was good. Oh, what a sweet boy you are. Hello, boys and girls. I'm Kathy, and I'm a dog trainer, and I'm going to teach your dog a simple cue. A cue is a word for an action that you want your dog to do. And in this case, what we want is the dog to give us their attention when they hear the cue, watch, okay? When we're teaching a dog something that they don't know, they're better off following a signal that we give them than knowing what our words mean. So at this point, I don't think she knows what watch means, but what I'm gonna do is put a smelly treat here in my hand. And the watch cue is simply your index finger going from her nose up to your eye. And when she looks at me, yes, I'm going to say yes to mark that behavior and give her a treat. Are you ready? Yes! Girl. Yes! And when she gets good at this, after we've done that about 20 times, and you notice that I'm not saying the word watch, I'm just using my thumb and my forefinger to come up to my eye. Yes! When I've done that about 50 times and I've gone to several different places, then I can give it a word. And the word I'm going to give it is watch. And so what I'm going to do is say watch. Then I'm going to give her the signal, yes! And then she gets a treat. And I'm going to repeat that in that order. Watch. Yes. And she gets a treat. And that way she'll learn that this hand signal means watch. And that way she'll learn that she should look at me when either I give the hand signal or when I say watch. Yes, good girl, Tabitha. Smart dog, she picks things up really quickly. Good girl, good girl. Hello, boys and girls. I'm Kathy, and I'm a dog trainer, and I'm going to show you and talk to you today about teaching your dog to sit when you ask, which means putting that sit on cue, okay? And for dogs, they don't inherently understand our English words, but they're very good at reading our body signals. So what I'm going to do for sit is I'm going to use an open palm like this. If she's standing, I'm going to go over her head, and I'm going to have a treat in my hand, and hopefully as I go up over her head and back a little ways, she'll put her butt on the floor. Come on, Tabitha, you know this. Tabitha, you did this for me this morning. I'm not going to give it to her. Yes! Okay, and then I'm going to give her a treat from my other hand, because I don't want her to focus on when there is or isn't a treat in this hand. We'll do it again. Come here, Tabby. Up over her head. And you just have to be patient. Yes! Okay, she's done it twice. We have to do this many times before she figures out that this signal means put your butt on the floor whenever I ask and wherever we are. You're walking away from me, Tabby. She still doesn't, yes! So she's still trying to figure it out. She's definitely treat motivated. Ready? Can you do it again? Yes! And she's getting quicker at responding to the hand signal. Once I've done this about 50 times, where I'm just using my hand signal to get her to sit, and I've done it in several different places so that probably 9 times out of 10 she'll do it as soon as she sees the signal. Then I'm ready to name this signal, and we're going to call it sit. And the way I would introduce that verbal cue would be, I would say sit, and then I would give her the, she knows the verbal, and then I would give her the hand signal, which she knows. When she puts on the butt on the floor, then I do it. Come here, baby. Sit. Yes! And then she gets her treat. Here. Here. Hey, Tabitha. Come here. Good girl. Okay, I have to get a couple more treats, and we'll do this a couple more times real quick. Okay, come here. Sit. Yes. So she knows it verbally. Somebody must have taught that to her. So I'm now trying to teach her with just the hand signal, so she'll have both. That way I can either cue her with my hand, or I can cue her with my voice. Sit. And if she doesn't do it immediately, I'm going to pause, wait a minute. Sit. Yes. Okay, so you have to have patience when you're training your dog. And the thing you don't want to do is if you say sit and she doesn't do it right at first, you don't want to say sit, 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 sit. You want to pause, stop, and then do what I did, which was start again to use the cue. Otherwise, your dog gets confused and your dog won't know whether sit means when they hear it once, or when they hear it 3 times, or when they hear it 5 times. And you want them to respond when you say it just once. So this is fun. Sit. Yes. Good girl. Okay, there we go.